Hi friends! Welcome to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Caitlin and I like to film eyeshadow palette, ranking, and review videos, as well as the occasional other beauty content sprinkled in. So if you like indie makeup, if you like eyeshadow palettes, if you like beauty content in general, I highly recommend that you hit that subscribe button because I post 2 videos every single week. And for those of you that are not new here, my face is happy that you are seeing it again. And before I get any questions, this is the Ombre Oasis wig from Cozy Zone. It is a lace front, and I have not glued it down. I'm being lazy because I'm just wearing it for this video and a TikTok. So yeah, I just have the headband back so we can do our makeup. But anyways, the reason that we are all here, we're gonna do a look with the new Blend Bunny Cosmetics Sugar and Grunge palette today. So let's just chat a little bit about the information on the palette. So this palette is made in China. It is vegan, cruelty-free, 12-month open container, and let's see. Mica and talc are in the pigment shades, but not in the eyeshadow shades. So let's take a look. There's a picture on the back of the box, and it looks like the face pigment shades are 13 of the 24 shades are face pigment shades. So if you're sensitive to things that cannot be labeled as eyeshadow here in the US, then this might not be for you, because over half the shades are labeled as face pigments. The other half are, or the 11 are eyeshadow ingredients. It does say not for use around the eyes, but we have talked about this on my channel multiple times, and I feel like multiple other beauty YouTubers talk about it. If you have questions, let me know in the comments, but trying not to be redundant here. Also, let's appreciate this packaging. It's this gorgeous, like, rose, like, florally color story. I don't even know how to explain it. It's so pretty. Here's the inside of the palette if you haven't seen it already. I'll try and get close up so you can see it better. Absolutely love it. I love these pastel shades. That's actually what inspired me to wear this wig today. Oh, and it's Sugar and Grunge. It's based on a 90s kind of theme from the owner, and I have to show you which shirt I decided to wear for this moment. It's really wrinkled, but it's my notorious B.I.G. shirt. So, okay. Yeah, oh, it says 24 shades for the 90s sweetheart on the front. So cute. Anyways, so yeah, let's go ahead and do a look with this. Okay, fair warning, I am trying a new eyeshadow primer. I ran out of my About Face one, and I went to Ulta to get a new one. My Ulta doesn't carry the About Face eyeshadow primer anymore, even though on the app it says it does. But whatever. Anyway, so I grabbed the Hourglass Veil eye primer. I've heard good things about this one, and it felt like the most similar in texture to the About Face one, so we're gonna try it today. And if things go poorly with the eyeshadow look, I just want to be fully transparent that it might not be the palette's fault. It might be my eyeshadow primer. So there you go. I have no idea what I want to do. I think, I wanted to try and match my shirt, but I don't think there's like a blue. There's teal and purple. There's no yellow either, so I can't really match my shirt. Okay, new game plan. What do we want to do here? So here's what I wanted to point out with the color story. So typically Blend Bunny does the corresponding like neutral with all the mattes in each row. And I know it bothered some people that they didn't do that this time. They kind of mixed up the shimmers. I actually really like that. Here's why. With your eyeballs, you can make the monochromatic color story, right? So I could go these purples here and then grab that purple shimmer. I could do these teals here, grab that teal shimmer. I could do the pinks, grab that pink shimmer. You know, like you can kind of figure that out with your eyes. What I think is cool that they've shifted it is now it gives you an idea to do something slightly different. Because if you do just go in the row, you can have this purple shimmer with these neutrals. Like, that's interesting. I think all of the shimmers go with the row. The only one that I'm like kind of iffy about is this pink shimmer with the blue mattes, but maybe you could still make a look out of that. But I just feel like for the most part they've given you even more inspiration than they normally do. I will be so excited about the day that Blend Bunny just like mixes the whole palette up. I think that would be fun. So back to me figuring out what I would like to do. When I use Blend Bunny palettes, I almost always want to go for like an all matte look. Okay, I think I know what I want to do. It's going to shock none of you, but I'm going to go for the purple, the purples in the crease. So what I think I'm going to do is these purples in the crease and then the green and blue on the lid. And then maybe we'll like grab the shimmer to like dust over the top. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But I think that could be fun. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. So I'm going to start with the darkest shade, I think, and go darkest to lightest. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go lightest to darkest. I'm gonna take this Singe Beauty EO3 brush and the shade Baby Tea, which is the light purple there. And I have all of the Blend Bunny palettes except Primal, or not Primal, sorry, blends. And so I feel like I don't think I'll do swatch comparisons. I might, I'll see if there's anything worth comparing in the palettes that I have. I really want blends. If you have blends, should I get it? I just feel like, do I need another all matte? Especially because I just picked up the BellaBeauteBar, Ellie Star, and Brittany Huffman collab. And so I'm like, do I need all of these mattes? But I have so many all shimmer palettes that I'm trying to work my way through right now that I'm like, maybe I should get an all matte palette. I don't know. Anyways, just fluff that into the crease. Oh, that is pretty. Also, sorry if you can hear the TV in the background. I have Final Destination playing for my dogs because it is 4th of July right now as I'm filming this. And I have a dog that is terrified of fireworks. Buddy, you guys might remember him. I did a video where he picked out my makeup. Anyways, terrified of fireworks. Shakes for like 3 hours when he hears them. And then is afraid of every loud sound for the next like 3 weeks after New Year's or 4th of July. So I put on a scary movie with lots of like loud bangs in it, hoping that like maybe he'll just think when it happens that it's still the movie. I don't know, because he's not scared right now with the movie playing, but we'll see. TBD. I've tried everything and nothing helps him. Really, he just goes into the closet. Last night was kind of a nightmare because all of my neighbors decided to set off fireworks last night as well. And yeah, he just hung out in the closet all night. At least he feels safe in there. So now I'm going to take this Real Techniques 054 Precision Point Blending Brush and this shade Detention, which is the medium purple shade. I kind of love that this palette has like your grays and your browns to do, you know, neutral looks, but you can also do neutral looks with a hint of color. Like I could totally see this being a palette that I want to keep reaching for when I get ready for work, because I don't mind wearing colorful eyeshadow looks to work. When I'm in the office, I try to lean a little bit more on the neutral side than like what I'm doing today. So I think having something where I can do a neutral with a pop of color is awesome. I actually debated doing a look that was a neutral with a pop of color. I might do that. Maybe I'll do another video with this palette. Let me know if you want multiple videos with this palette. I feel like my Blend Bunny videos usually do pretty well, even though I'm not like one of the first people to get them. I feel like everybody still wants to get more look inspiration with them, so let me know in the comments if you want another video with this palette, although I do have other palettes coming to me, so it might be a minute. That's the hard part with trying the new makeup and getting reviews out for everybody, is I don't feel like I can really play with everything on camera as much as I would like to. And I know that that's a first world problem, and obviously a very privileged problem because I can afford to buy these palettes, but I just want to be able to like showcase everything as much as possible. That's why I do my palette palooza and I try to use every shade. One, to slow my roll, because I shouldn't keep buying makeup if I can't even use everything I have already purchased. But two, I think it's helpful to like share down the line, like once I've used them quite a bit, like, because not just like formula wise, you know, because I think formulas, if you're used to using a certain brand's formula, like it's kind of, it is what it is. But if you're, you know, sometimes they have new types of formulas in their palettes, but also there's sometimes shades that end up harder pressed or whatever. And if you don't like really play with something over time, I think you miss out on it. So I like to play with things over time, share my thoughts over time. But then also, besides quality, what I was trying to say was color story, right? Like on first glance, I think I have lots of ideas with this color story, but as I continue to use it, do I sort of feel stuck? Do I not really feel like I know what to do with it, or does it continue to inspire me and then I continue to want to play with it? Like the BellaBeauteBar and Brittany Huffman collab from last year. Like, I've used every shade in that palette, and I want to keep reaching for that palette because I keep having ideas with the color story, if that makes sense. Versus, like, I'm trying to think of a palette I really liked last year that I don't really reach for. I don't know. I'm sure there is one, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Okay, so now I'm going to take the Singe Beauty EO5 brush, and we're going to go with the shade Moody, which is the darkest purple here. It was funny because I was debating if I needed to work in a black, but that dark purple is definitely dark enough on its own. Now, since I want to go in with the mattes, I feel like I need to cut my crease. I always like to cut my crease. Oh my god. I always like to cut my crease with the Kaleidos Makeup Tone Activator eye primer. I got it for free, but it's a pigmented eye base, so I think if you have a pigmented eye base, I'm not saying you necessarily have to use that one, but I use more of like a translucent eyeshadow primer when I do my eyeshadow primer normally, but if I'm cutting my crease, I want a pigmented one because I want to cover up any shadow. That's where I'm putting this down, if that makes sense. And I know some people cut their crease just with their concealer. If that is you and you're capable of that, just know I'm really jealous. My eyelids are way too creasy to use concealer. I've tried it. I have heard people say that like concealer they don't use on their under eyes, they've used as like their cut crease concealer because it's like really heavy, but I don't have a concealer I don't like, so that's why I'm using this. Okay, see, so that's why I wanted to do that, because you can see that that is just like cleaner and we're going to be able to put the mattes on top better. I think that's good enough. So I want to start with this green shade Ironic, which I love. I love the shade name on that one. I'm going to take this, it's a BH Cosmetics number 7 brush. It's kind of like a fluffy flat brush. I feel like it should work for this. I really like that green. This feels very Joker-esque. Joker, like early Joker, cartoon Joker, you know? I shouldn't say cartoon. Animated Joker, I think, is probably more of a respectable term. But I also meant, because in the comics, I don't know, whatever. I like that. Okay, I'm going to flip to the other side of that same brush, and I think, I'm trying to decide if we should go candy or baggy jeans. Ooh. I feel like baggy jeans because we're blending it into this really dark purple. So I think I need to go with the mid-tone teal shade. Yeah, I think that helps. I might bring in a little bit of candy just for funsies. Okay, so I'm gonna try and blend Ironic into that teal shade, and if we need assistance, we might pull in candy, but I think those are blending actually okay. Just fine on the two of them. Ooh. Oh, that is such a pretty gradient. Oh my gosh. I don't think I can be expected to put a shimmer over this. I'm really sorry. I'm kind of obsessed with this. Like, really, really obsessed with this. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna do something that might make some of you mad, but I have the Jelly Wink Cosmetics and Snarls Box Glitter Vault. No, I won't make you mad. So I think what I want to try and do is like cut this crease with one of the shimmer E shades. Like maybe the purple shimmer. Let's see. This is Jawbreaker. I think that could be pretty, that might not be enough of a difference on the, with the mattes. That's Bubblegum. I like that one. This is Butterfly. Which one? Yeah, I don't think the purple will make enough of a difference. I think Bubblegum. Let's do Bubblegum. That way I'm at least using a shimmer for you all. I think that's fun, but not like changing this look too much that I, you know, like I'm keeping my vision. I don't know how this is gonna go trying to do this with a shadow, but we're gonna find out. In hindsight, I should have done this before I cut the crease, so I could have cleaned up the line easier, but that's okay. So now I'm gonna go in with Ironic on this Sigma eyeshadow brush. What is this, the E55? And I just want something that I can get a little bit of a sharper line. up against that shimmer. All right, I think it adds like a little fun flair to it. So I'm gonna end up doing that on the other eye. I'll come back and show you the finished look. I might do a shadow wing, but I'll talk about it when I come back. Anyways, for the most part, this is the look. Okay, here is the finished look. I did almost the same mattes on bottom that I did on top. I did do a shadow wing using the shade Combat Boots. So I just did like eyeshadow as my winged liner, and then same mattes, the purple mattes on bottom, just the purple mattes on bottom, but I used the shade Bubblegum in my inner corner, and then I put a little bit of Butterfly just to tie in the blue a little bit. But anyways, here's the finished look. I love it. I think it's so cute. I had such a good time with this palette. I used that new eyeshadow primer, and at least on initial application, no issues. We'll see longevity-wise if it holds up to what I'm used to, although not tonight, a different day, because it's 6:30, so I'm not gonna have this look on that much longer. But anyways, this is what the look looks like. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. Now, let's do some comparisons. Okay, so I have Surge, Primal, All Done Up, and Lure. So All Done Up's gonna be their smallest palette. This isn't really gonna be that similar. Oh my goodness, dropping things over here. But I figured I'd share. You do have the gray and green rose in both of these, and the like kind of peachy neutrals, but I feel like these go a little bit more brown, and these definitely stay a little bit more blushy toned. This gray is a little bit more blue. This gray is lighter, or like more of a gray, then that's more of a white. Obviously the black and dark brown shades they're going to be different, but, or they're going to be similar, but that is what it is. So there's a few shades that I think are kind of similar. I think this palette is the one that I felt like might have the most similarities, but I think I'm wrong on that. I thought the teals are different. They're different. They're different in tone, but like, depending on how much colorful eyeshadow you use, I don't know. This row in the Lure palette is definitely more neon than this one goes. And I feel like this goes a little bit more pastel. I actually think these palettes might pair nicely together. The purples are like, there's an ice cream truck driving by. But anyways, I do think this goes a little bit brighter, and this is more of a little bit of like a pastel and like grungy, dustier type of color story. But I do think these would pair nicely because they do have a lot of similar like colors, but the shades and tones are different. I don't know if that makes sense. This one is going to be Surge. I feel like the pastel purple's probably kind of similar. The shade Cut Out might be similar-ish to Sweetheart. The dark purple, the dark gray, the dark like blushy color, you know, like all the dark colors I think are more similar. Obviously none of these color stories are exact duplicates, but you might get overlapping shades because they give you so many mattes. So yeah, the tones of the purples in this one are pretty different. The shade Luna is slightly lighter than the shade Ironic in this one, so the shade Luna in this one, sorry, I'm not even, who knows if any of these have been in frame. But anyways, I think in each palette you probably have like a handful or less of shades that are similar to each other, but I don't think there's any palette. I thought Lure would be the most similar color story wise just looking at it, but I don't think any of the color stories are exactly the same, and I think there's only, like I said, like a handful of shades that maybe overlap with each palette. I think because the tones of this go more pastel and then more of like a grungy muted color, I do think this is different than the other palettes in the line, but you gotta decide for yourself if you've got other stuff, if you need that. But just wanted to share that I do feel like it's more different. I thought upon like initial looking at it, I was like, oh, that's kind of a similar-ish color story to Lure with like some pastels in it, but Lure definitely comes off as brighter. So I do think those would play nicely together. But yeah, this is the finished look. I already said that. But yeah, I'm really happy with this so far. Obviously, this is a first impressions. As I kind of mentioned earlier, I do these Palette Palooza videos where as I use up every eyeshadow shade in a palette, once I get through the set of 10, I do a Palette Palooza video where I talk about just like in detail reviews, like favorite shade, least favorite shade, tips for working with it if there's certain shades that didn't work, like how I got them to work, things like that. And then kind of a ranking of those 10. And then monthly, I do a ranking of every eyeshadow palette I use in the month. So whether it's new or it's old, just kind of ranking everything. So if you want to hear my ongoing thoughts on this palette, I do recommend subscribing because I do those videos regularly. And with that being said, that's everything from me. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next time. Bye!